So this is part 2 of Matty's story. So after the shelter had looked at him and they decided he was too sick and it was outside of their capabilities to care for him, the call was made to a rescue called Monkey's House. Monkey's House is a hospice and sanctuary for dogs, and they do unbelievable work there. And it was absolutely Matty's lucky day. He hit the lottery that day, because when the phone call was made, Michelle answered and she said, "Give me 20 minutes." She called back. She said, we'll take him in. We have it. He's ready to be admitted at Blue Pearl Hospital because he's so sick. He had to be hospitalized basically right away. She said, "Can you get him there?" And Matty and I got in the car. We drove to Levittown, Pennsylvania, and they were ready for him. And he was admitted. They were running a lot of tests. They found him, yes, to be very sick. He had a heart murmur. He had the diabetes. He had stones that were embedded in him, and he was going to have surgery to have them removed. He was very, very sick. So he was going to stay. And while we were waiting for test results, the shelter texted and said Patty, which was Matty's bonded partner, had been returned by her adopter. She was back at the shelter. So when Michelle from Monkey's House found that out, she said, "Go get her." She said they belong together. They're a bonded pair. She said, "Go get her." So the next day I picked up Patty, and she waited here, and we anxiously waited to see if Matty was going to make it through his surgery and, be okay. So Patty was waiting. We were waiting to hear from Matty, and it was absolutely the best news. They said Matty made it through the surgery. He was very sick, but he was able to come home, and he was ready. So he had a sensor on him, so his blood sugar levels could be tested, constantly. And it had an alarm for the highs and the lows. And, he was like hooked up here. So he was on his way home, and Patty was waiting here for him. And after a little bit of, thinking, Michelle decided that the two of them could go ahead and see each other. She at first, because Matty was so sick, we weren't sure that it was safe for them to be together, but she thought it was in his best interest and for his well-being for them to be together since they were so bonded. So the amazing thing is, when he got home, look at them. They were so happy to see each other. I mean, absolutely just two peas in a pod. They could not have been happier together. They were like little bookends. And they were so sweet together, and we had to keep Matty really quiet. He had to get his insulin, and he was on a special diet and all kinds of things. There were highs and lows with his insulin, and because it was not stable, Michelle was on the phone in the middle of the night so many times, directing what to do to keep the little guy safe. And after, about a week and a half, they were able to go outside for short walks, which they were thrilled to do. Patty is the sassiest one, and Matty is the quieter one, but the two of them together were just meant for each other. I mean, they were just two peas in a pod, like I said. They could not have been cuter together, and they just made each other so happy. So they stayed here. They just got stronger and happier, and then the time was coming for them to head to Monkey's House, which is it is now their permanent residence. And as much as it was bittersweet, because I had fallen in love with these guys, how could you not? I mean, I was madly in love with them, but I knew it was absolutely in their best interest. Matty had enough health issues, and Patty has actually some of her own, that it was going to be, they were going to need very good care to, for them to live their best lives and, have good lives. So I know it's the best place for them. But of course I was still going to miss them. So we got them all ready, and they got packed up, and off we went to Monkey's House. And I cuddled with them in the back seat and, told them how amazing it was going to be. And I didn't even have to worry, because when they got there, they moved right in as if they had lived there their entire lives. And I'll tell you, getting updates like this and seeing them, nothing could make me happier. So please check out Monkey's House. And if you could help out, they have a huge vet bill from Matty's stay at the hospital. So if you could help out, I know they'd appreciate it, but check them out. They do unbelievable work. These dogs are in heaven.